This is the course overview video for critical thinking. I'm your instructor, Rob Loftus, and I use he, him pronouns. For this video, I'm going to be reusing some old footage from previous times that I taught this class, so the background and hairstyle in the video might change unexpectedly. My apologies if this is distracting. There are actually two parallel sections for this course, one online and one in person. The Canvas page covers both the online and in-person sections. This welcoming video, however, is mostly just for the online section. For the in-person students, we will be going over much of the material in this video in the first class session. I'll talk more about the relationship between these two sections later in this video. Okay, first up, my contact information. My contact information is on the Canvas page for this course. Email is the best way to contact me. You can email me directly at jloftis@lorainccc.edu, or you can use the Canvas system to contact me. I generally reply within 24 hours and promise to reply within 48. You'll notice that although I go by the name Rob, my email says J Loftus, and when you see me commenting online, it will appear as James. My name will appear as James. That's because my full name is James Robert Loftus, and when I took this job over 15 years ago, they just entered me into the system as James Loftus, and it's been that way ever since. But please, call me Rob. Or if you don't feel comfortable calling your professors by their first name, you can call me Professor Loftus. You can just do that if it makes you feel fancy. That's fine. My office hours this semester are Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 2:15. You can also set up an appointment anytime. I'm on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we can always talk via WebEx or Zoom. I'm also including my cell phone number. Please feel free to contact me on my cell, as I often work from home. However, I ask that you text first because I don't pick up the phone for strange numbers. If you have a disability and need an accommodation, you are legally entitled to one, thanks to the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you need an accommodation, you should talk with me confidentially early in the semester. You should also talk to the Office of Accessibility Services. The link to their webpage is in the PowerPoint. You can also visit them in person at the College Center, room 234, across from the Testing Center. You can call them at 440-366-4085 or email at accessibility@lorainccc.edu. In general, the school offers an enormous number of support resources, both academic and personal, for students who need help for any reason at all. Most personal support resources are available through the Advocacy and Resource Center. You can contact them at arc@lorainccc.edu or by calling 440-366-4ARC. That's 440-366-4272. Their offices are on the first floor of the library. So what kind of personal and social support services are available? Well, for starters, there is food and income assistance programs. And I know in pandemic times these can be necessary for all kinds of people. There are utility assistance programs. There are childcare services, mental health, addiction, and personal counseling services, transportation. They can give you gas money if you, or like get cards for gas money if you need help getting to school. Housing assistance, legal services, and services for victims of sexual assault or domestic violence. Again, the contact information is arc@lorainccc.edu or by calling 440-366-4ARC. Their offices are on the first floor of the library. You can also visit the web page. which is www.lorainccc.edu/ARC. If you go to the web page, you can see that they've got their contact information and office hours. There's also a button you can click for online chat. You can schedule an appointment, and they talk about all the services they have: emergency aid, help with technology, food assistance, Commodore Career Closet, where you can get nice clothing for a job interview. Also, if you go over to loraineccc.edu/support services, you'll see a broader list of services, including accessibility services, the Care Center, the Children's Learning Center. In general, I encourage you to take advantage of all of the support the college has to offer. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this class has in-person and online sections. So if you are registered for the in-person section and you miss a class for whatever reason, you can do it online and there's no penalty for lateness. If you are registered for the online class and you want to come to the in-person class for more hands-on education, let me know. The material is broken up into 29 classes corresponding to the 29 in-person classroom sessions. For each class, there is a reading and exercises, and then either a video if you're in the online section, or the classroom session itself for the in-person section. The reading should be completed before you come to the class or watch the video. For the in-person section, the exercises will sometimes be due before class and sometimes done during class. I will announce this at the class before. For the online class, exercises will sometimes be done before the videos and sometimes done between multiple videos. And you will be able to see this from the layout of the class page. As you just saw, there are 29 classes, and each one will have an exercise that goes with it. These are 40% of your grade. The purpose of these is just to help you digest and practice and understand the material and see how it might apply to your own life. These exercises are just graded on completion. If you make a good faith effort to answer all the questions, you get 100 points, and if you don't turn anything in, you get 0. The average of all these 100s and 0s becomes 40% of your grade. There will also be 5 projects that I am labeling field projects. The goal of these is to see how well you can apply the concepts of this course to real cases. They will be graded, and a grading rubric will be given for each one. These are 10% of your grade, which means that they are individually worth a little bit more than the class exercises are individually. There will also be 5 tests, one at the end of each module of the course. These are 35% of your grade. For each of these, I will be posting a review sheet and a practice test. The review sheet will be posted at the beginning of the module so you can use it to take notes. Finally, there will be a cumulative final exam worth 15% of your grade. This will just be over the material covered in the first 5 tests. So this is what the page for each class session looks like. As you can see at the top, there is a reading. It will be something that you can download as a PDF or a Word document. You don't need to buy any textbook for this course. And then beneath that are the exercises and the videos. So in this case, you've got some exercises. This is from a textbook I put together from an earlier version of this class from Free Materials Online. So I want you to, in this case, to do the exercises. And then there's a video from someone else named John Corvino I want you to watch. And then there's my video. The PowerPoint slides are here. And once you're done, you can do you should submit the exercises. Each page is a Dropbox. You can upload the exercises or drag and drop them. Exercises. Students can, in either section, can turn in their problems online at any time. The deadline for each class exercises is set to the day that the in-person class is held. That's just because you need to set a deadline in Canvas, otherwise it doesn't show up on people's to-do list. There's no actual penalty for turning in problem sets late. I have a no-fault lateness policy. If you miss an assignment, just send me an email and to say, I've got a lot of stuff going on, but I'll get this to you on Thursday. And as long as you get it to me on Thursday, you're fine. So sometimes the exercises that we're going to be doing are the kinds of problems you might encounter in a more mathy or sciencey course where there are right or wrong answers, and they're probably called a problem set rather than an exercise. This will especially be true from problems from earlier versions of this course. For these, you don't have to get the answers right. You just have to try. For some of the newer exercises, I'm going to be asking you to reflect on how something we're talking about appears in your own life or in other things you've learned or things you see in the media. For these, there won't really be a right answer, so it doesn't matter. And again, I assign you a grade of 100% if you complete the assignment and 0% if you don't. Submitting the exercises. If you are in the in-person section, you can just submit them on paper in person. You may even be doing them during the class. If you are submitting them online, as I showed you earlier, you can write your answers in the word processing document and upload. If you want to write answers out by hand, that's cool too. Just write them out by hand and take a picture of it with your phone and upload that picture. Test modes. Unless you request differently, online students will take their tests online. In-person students will take their tests in the classroom. And students who require appropriate accommodations will take their tests in the testing center. So each test will have a review sheet, practice test, and a main test. The review sheet will be given out at the start of the section, the module, so you can use it to take notes. Practice test does not count toward your grade. The main test does count toward your grade. Also, this semester, for the first time, I am going to be using the lockdown browser, and this is because of ChatGPT. In the past, I haven't used any online surveillance methods for people taking the tests because I find them to be very intrusive. In this case, what I'm going to do is that the tests for both online and in person are going to be open book and open note, but not open internet. I want to block you from using ChatGPT. The online test will be using this thing called the lockdown browser from a company called Respondus. And what it does is it prevents you from accessing other websites. It also has a webcam, but I'm not going to be using the webcam. I find that very intrusive. I don't need to see people's apartments or their lives, and people don't always want to show that. Information about how to use the lockdown browser is on a page right above the practice test, so we'll get to that in a few weeks. I want to talk about my motivations for doing this. For a class like this one, using ChatGPT makes about as much sense as paying for a gym membership and then paying someone else to work out for you. So you're not allowed to use the ChatGPT for exercises or the tests. You have to do your own thinking. I will, however, be discussing examples of the answers that ChatGPT gives to the questions for this course and for the philosophical implications of this. ChatGPT is doing things that I did not think would be possible in my lifetime. I'm not one of these people who thinks ChatGPT actually thinks or feels or is a person. I'm just kind of amazed. In particular, I'm amazed that a machine that works the way that one does is able to accomplish what it does. I kind of want to talk about that, talk about the patterns of mistakes it makes, and the ways that they are like and unlike patterns of human mistakes on the kinds of questions we will be asking in this course. As I said before, there are no penalties for late work, but if you start falling behind, we will need to talk. Okay, next steps for the online section. Go to class 1, do exercise 1. There's no reading. This is the equivalent of the first day of class, so I don't expect you to come to class having done a reading. Watch the video, do exercise 2, submit the exercises to the Dropbox. So you must do something in this class that shows up on the website within the first 14 days, or you will be automatically dropped from the course. So the easiest thing to do is just to submit the class 1 assignment. Thank you, and I'm really looking forward to this semester. I've made a lot of changes to this course to deal with things that have been happening, especially around online disinformation. And well, you'll see in the first class, but I'm really excited to have you here.